Hi, guys. It is so good to be with you today. I'm happy to be back doing another podcast. And I am just so thrilled about being able to do this, being able to share positive messages and insight and tips and strategies. And this has been just such a fun experience. I'm so glad that I've made the commitment to do this. And, when I first started looking into the possibility of doing a podcast, I thought to myself, there is absolutely no way I'm going to be able to do that. That is too much work. It's impossible. There's too much technical stuff behind the scenes that I'm just not going to have time for. And voila, here we are. I took the time to learn how to do the process. And even though I have 3 kids, I've made the time to be able to do it because you know what? This has just really been a priority to me. It's been so important for me to share my message with the world and to help other women to continue to share their message. And really, we all are these little lights around the world going from place to place. And when you have a platform such as creating a podcast, it is truly the best place that you can go to be able to share your message because people can hear it anywhere. If they just plug into where you store your specific episodes, people can plug into you from anywhere. And it's such a great honor to have my listenership. And if that is you today listening in, thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me because I am learning myself. I'm learning every single day and getting better and growing and understanding more. And it's just been such an awesome experience, I got to tell you. And if you have not done a podcast and it's on your heart, it's been something that you feel you've been called to do, then I say go for it. It is totally worth it because you are going to get so much back in return when you're able to share these messages. And what's really neat is that I have done, 16 episodes. This will be my 17th. And the cool part is that people can listen to any one of your episodes at any point. They'll just go to your page and look up the title and decide, okay, is this the right message for me to listen to on this specific day? So it's really neat. It's not even like that they have to just come in and only listen to the message that you're putting out that week. So I just love it. Love the setup, love how you can share it with people. And so I'm going to be coming up with a lot of really neat topics this summer. I'm going to be going into talking about motherhood, bringing in some really neat guest speakers, talking about doing it all as a busy working mama, managing a household, managing a business. And for all you women entrepreneurs out there, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. And then when your kids get out of school, it's absolutely exhausting. You're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with my kiddos? Though you're probably excited about having them around, at the same time, you're like, okay, so I'm going to have to restructure everything for the summer. So that's when I talk to my clients about that shift. It can be a little bit overwhelming because you are going to have to definitely make some major changes if all of your kids are in school and then they're not in school over the summer. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be bringing Asher to some classes at this place called Woodlawn Arts Academy. It's amazing for kids. It's really, really great. And I'm going to be putting him in the WIDS Kids program. And not that many of you know what that is, but it's for kids that really just need something. They need to be stimulated. So this is a really good thing for me because he's incredibly smart and he needs to be constantly focused on something at the forefront. So, if your kids need to be stimulated, if they need something to do, look into some summer camps, see what types of options there are for you. Wherever it is that you live, I'm sure that there's something that you can look into for your kids, and definitely getting them outdoors and spending the time out there is so important. Oh my gosh. I am a firm believer that just keeping them on the electronic stuff does nothing but damage. And I know once in a while, yeah, you got to do it if you're kind of stuck in a bind and you've got a million other things going on. You probably want to give them the iPad or the phone or whatever. But you know what? if you can give them the option to spend some time outside and in nature, learning about birds and insects and all that good stuff, it's going to help them to really open up their mind, and they're going to be refreshed and excited about spending time and energy doing something other than the technology stuff. So just some food for thought. None of that was what I was planning on talking about today, but just got off on a little bit of a tangent because I love to cover things as they come into my mind. But today I wanted to talk about this last weekend, specifically one of the things that I did. And I wanted to share this with you because I like to really focus on dreams. I like to focus on things coming to fruition in our life. That's one of my biggest standpoints, one of my biggest topics that I focus on when helping people to create a life of abundance, a life that they absolutely love living every single day. So I like to talk about when something happens for them and help them to come out of their shell and understand what it's like to fully experience what it is that they're going through to get to that point. And let me explain this a little bit further. So if you have something on your bucket list that you are just working towards, it's very important to you, and you have been thinking about this or dreaming about this for your entire life, when you actually are able to experience it, it is a dream come true. And it's almost surreal because especially if it's something that you've been thinking about for almost your whole life, and you actually you stand there in that moment and time almost stands still for you when you get to that point. And that's what I wanted to share with you today, is that this weekend I had the opportunity to go to the Kentucky Derby. Yay! Oh my gosh. It was one of the coolest things I've ever done. And I got to tell you, it has been something that I've wanted to do my entire life. I am a lover of horses. In fact, when I was younger, I used to pretend I was a horse. I would gallop around and whinny and literally just wanted to be one. I had a mask that I used to wear of a horse, and I had a bridle in my room. My parents wouldn't let me get a horse because they knew that they would end up taking care of it. I was so sad growing up because I wanted one so bad. But what they did for me was they got me a bridle and they put it on the wall in my room so I could always kind of reflect on that. And hey, you know what? It's not too late for me to get a horse in my life. I have plenty of time. So it's still in the back of my mind that when my husband and I get a big enough house and our kids are a little bit older, that is still a possibility. So going back to the Kentucky Derby, I just wanted to share that experiencing this whole thing, because it was something that I'd wanted to do for so long in my life, was surreal. And the whole process of it, from buying the tickets to walking up to Churchill Downs to seeing the race, it almost gives me chills talking about it right now. And just experiencing this whole thing and having everything come together the way that it did was just so cool. And I got to say that, when you put things down on paper, you write them down, you talk about them, you think about them, you create that vision board, you're going to continue to think about it and anticipate the coming to fruition of this event or this activity. So for me, every single year I'd watch the Kentucky Derby and I would declare out loud that I was going to go to that event. This is going to be something that's going to be a part of my life. And this year, my husband and I talked over it, and knowing that it was also something that was really, really important to my mother, we bought the tickets outside of making some sacrifices to be able to do it. And we bought some really nice tickets. And we knew that it was something that both of my parents would really enjoy. So we gave it to them for Christmas. So that's how that kind of played out. But, 15 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to afford the seats that we're in now. It has come over time, and after sacrifices have been made and goals have been put into place, that this event was able to take place. So it's just really neat to be able to see something like that happen after years and years and years of preparation. And so I wanted to highlight your personal bucket list and what you have on your bucket list. And I want to ask you, do you have anything written down? Do you have any kind of visual for a bucket list? And as I've shared with you many times, I am very much a visual person. And one of the things I wanted to encourage you to do today is just like with the vision board, and I'm going to be talking more in some of the future episodes about vision board creation, but I want you to be able to create a bucket. And I want you to be able to, and this can be a 3D bucket, or this can be a bucket that you put down on paper. And I want you to be able to, if you're going to do a 3D bucket, I want you to be able to laminate the specific things that you're going to be putting into it and keep it in a safe spot. But I want you to try to write down at least 10 things that you want to put in your bucket list. And once you do that, it'll give you something to look forward to as you're continuing to go throughout your life and you're pursuing your life journey. And it also goes hand in hand with what you want to achieve. What are the great things that you want to accomplish? What are the things that are important to you in this life? So even if it isn't exactly what you have anticipated, the ability to be able to experience it is huge. And what I mean by that specifically is this weekend when we experienced the Kentucky Derby, it was pouring. It was absolutely pouring rain. And so we got these incredible tickets. We were in section 122, so we were really close to the front. And what we ended up doing was walking right up to the railing. And we got to see these horses run right past us. Like literally, we had mud like flinging from the horses' feet that was coming up. And it was just so incredible watching these horses fly by us. And it was almost as if time stood still during those moments, because it's that thing that, when you've anticipated it for so long, and then you're experiencing it right then and there, and it's so fast. They're just running past, but yet everything around you almost kind of stands still. All of the people yelling, all of the noise, and you're almost like in this bubble where you're just experiencing this dream. And despite the rain, despite that pouring rain, in that moment, I don't even remember thinking about the rain, because I was so enamored in what I was experiencing. So, we can have things set into place with our bucket list, and we can anticipate exactly what we want, and it might come out a little bit differently than what we had originally anticipated. But the deal is that if you completely allow yourself to soak into that moment, it's going to allow you to appreciate it in its greatest capacity. So I just wanted to help you to consider that as well. So I have this sign in my house, and it's right by my sink when I wash my face, and it's write your own destiny. And writing your own destiny is so important, because if we don't write our destiny, others are going to write it for us. So incorporating what you want and writing it out and bringing that into the whole process of writing down what's in your bucket list all goes hand in hand with each other. So remember that there's a lot of things that we want in our life, but we have to be willing to make some sacrifices, for one, We have to be willing to take action on them for 2. And for 3, there's always a certain timeline that's going to work out for us in order to make that happen. I, at one point, wanted to go skydiving, and I was living in Chicago, and I was signed up and everything. And it just so happened that it was storming that day. And I said, okay, well, I guess I'm not supposed to go today. So actually haven't gone since then. That was about 12 years ago. And it never happened. So now I still want to do it at some point, but we'll see about the timing. And it is something that I've written down, and I have it a part of, all of the other special things that I want to achieve in this lifetime. So what things do you have in your bucket list? I want to ask you that today. And if you don't have anything written down and you want to do something really super simple, I want to encourage you to just draw a bucket, and draw a bucket that has 10 lines inside of it. And on each line, write something that you would like to accomplish. Write something that's significant to you, that's important. And if you do this, you're always going to have that visual of something that you want to achieve, that you want to put at the forefront. And there's so many different ways that you can take this to the next level. But this is just the beginning stages. If you can take the time to write it down and absorb what it is that you are writing and visualize yourself in doing whatever it is that you're putting down, then that's going to help you be in that moment and visualize what you want for your future, what you want to come to fruition. So bucket lists are really important. And I think that there's some people that have them, but not enough. And I want to encourage you today to get started on that, because it's just one more aspect of goal creation, of putting things into place and taking action on your life in a way that's going to help you get from point A to point B, to help you feel more fulfilled, to help you to feel more achieved, to help you to more achievement in your life, I should say, to help you feel more of a sense of purpose, whatever it is that you are working towards. So remember all of those things. They're really great food for thought. And I want to thank you for listening in today. I just absolutely love sharing this kind of stuff with you. And I know how difficult life can be at times, how busy life can be at times. And I get it. I just want to say this to you today because I feel like there's somebody that needs to hear this, that I get you. And I get where you're coming from when you feel like you're just kind of stuck and you don't know exactly what the next steps are to take, and you want to put these things into place. But whenever I hear that, I just want to encourage baby steps. And I don't know if you've ever seen What About Bob, one of the greatest movies ever. But he talks about his book, which is Baby Steps. And he baby steps his way to do anything and everything. And sometimes just taking that single little step is all that you need to do to take and initiate the process. So start thinking about that. Start acting upon it. Little tiny steps make a big, big difference. So I am going to enjoy the rest of this amazing day today. It's about 80 degrees and I'm just absolutely loving life, wearing my bright orange t-shirt. Life is really good right now. And I'm looking forward to all of the future topics that I'm going to be talking about. And don't worry, I'm going to be doing some more interviews here in the very near future. I'm really excited about bringing some new people on board to help them to share their message with the world. It's been incredibly busy, so that's why it hasn't worked out, but they are going to be on the show within the month. So just know that there's going to be a lot of really great content coming out, as well as content that I'm going to be sharing. So We look forward to having you back next week. And as always, feel free to leave a review and send me a message. Subscribe if you are enjoying what you're hearing. And we'll see you next week.